loyalty. Pass it on from passiton.com.
Deano's Night Out on WRMN. It's the talk of the town, so come on and listen now. It's Deano's Night Out on WRMN 1410. Night Out on WRMN. It's the talk of the town, so come on and listen now. It's Deano's Night Out on WRMN 1410.
Hey, and good afternoon, everybody. This is me, Dean DeLaley from Deano's Night Out. I've been absent a little bit, going to different doctor appointments and checking this out and checking that out. That time of the year, I got to get this stuff taken care of. But today, we have a great live in-studio guest that we're going to talk to in just a few short moments. But we got to get all the housekeeping out of the way. Our show, every time we do a Deano's Night Out, is brought to you by the one and only Ron Onesti from the Arcada Theater. The Arcada Theater, for those of you who don't know, it's located in beautiful downtown St. Charles at 105 East Main Street. That's the Arcada Theater, oshows.com. So you say, hey, what's he got going on there tonight? Let me tell you, here's what he's got. He's got East Coast icons with special guest Minor Damage, the best of classic rock. So what it is the East Coast Icons are a tribute to East Coast American rockers. They'll be covering all your favorites from Billy Squier, Boston, Kiss, and more. I always like more. That was a Marky B thing. He would always say, more. Oh, I like more. And then tomorrow, what does he have? You ask. Let me answer. At the Arcada Theater, that's Saturday, not Friday, the 31st, 105 East Main Street, Adrenalize. Yep, Adrenalize. They draw the name from Def Leppard's fifth studio album, Adrenalize. The ultimate Def Leppard experience recreates the chart-topping, chest-thumping anthems that made Def Leppard an icon and dominant force in area rock of the 80s and beyond. So, hey, that's what's going on over at the Arcada Theater. We got a lot of cool things happening in the neighborhood. You know, a very dear friend of ours is having his 40th anniversary, and that's on the 31st, which is tomorrow. It's sold out, but it's over there at the Moonlight Theater, right around the corner from the Arcada, as a matter of fact. But Rick Lindy and the Wild Ones, he's celebrating 40th anniversary, and I'm telling you, he plays a show and a half. We have had him here at the studio countless times, playing live. He brings the whole crew with the stand-up bass. He had the keyboards. I mean, with the drum, the snare, oh, my God. Everybody, one guy is better than the other, and they make up a beautiful sound, which is, again, Rick Lindy and the Wild Ones. He's got some great entertainment to him, great showman. But you know what? Beyond all of that, he's a real gentleman. He's been a headliner for us over at the America First Responders Fest. But he is just a real down-to-earth guy, which you could imagine. To be in this industry for 40 years, how about it, Tom? I said who's here, but that's okay. This guy has really done his work in the industry. He is liked by so many. I've never heard a bad comment about Rick, and you wouldn't talk bad about him in front of me. And that goes for my good friend Ron Onesti. Ron Onesti has got so many acts. Rick Lindy and the Wild Ones have played there on numerous times. But Ron puts on such a show in St. Charles, and he also has a Des Plaines Theater. So We are not going to go any further with me yakking. We're going to talk about our guest in the studio. Our guest in the studio today, we have, who do we have in the studio? We have Tom Holbrook. Say hi to everybody, Tom.
Sporting my winter beard there. Check me out. I look much older. I look my age now.
Nobody recognized you.
It's a frosty day in Elgin, huh? It's starting to look like Christmas again.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it is going to be Christmas again. I could use a second Christmas.
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it at
Yeah,
all.
it's fantastic. Nice to see you, Mr. Deano.
You know
Thank
what?
you,
I am so
WRMN
glad
listening
you made
audience.
it here. Thank you very, very much for being here today. And, we're going to talk all things Bozio.
Oh, my goodness.
And Tom happens to be
A
the
nutcase.
curator, I would guess you would
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah, curator.
And local nutcase.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't disagree with you on that one, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, Tom is a good friend of ours. Tom has been around for a long time being Mr. Bozo. Anything Bozo, the collection, he has it. And
Pretty
he's gonna
close. I don't have it all.
I think you got just about
There's a
everything
lot of
that
stuff,
they've ever
yeah.
published or produced. And I'm actually glad even more so to call Tom my friend, because the man he is, we've been working next door. He's been helping us do some work over here.
Studio 16. Yeah.
over
I'm
at Studio
looking forward
16.
to that.
And
Then you can
he's a sign
have
painter.
Mr. Lindy here
fact.
playing, setting up the whole band and playing on camera. And
Wasn't that great?
oh yeah, I mean, but you'll have him next door at Studio 16, which will
Yes.
be like a miniature concert.
Oh, it's going to be the best. When we open the doors and finally unravel that, everybody, I think, is going to love it. But, Tom is just another one. I talk good about Rick Lindy. Everybody that comes on here, I've either gotten to know very well, but we have a great collection of people that adorn our station. And we are very blessed to have these people. Tom as well, good man of faith is included.
Couldn't make it a day without him.
How about it? Amen, brother. I'll
Well,
second
WRMN
that.
is a blessing to the community. When people tune in, they're hearing the voice of the Fox Valley, the talk of the town. They're getting local information as well as national information. They're getting great points of view. They're receiving some of these sports fans. That's a little bit beyond me, but boy, we have a great collection of sports shows here on WRMN, and the hosts and the knowledge base and the fandom is amazing. It really is. I've
little
tuned
bit
in
of
and
something
listened.
for everybody, we like to
Oh,
think.
It's really nice.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks, Tom, for that. I appreciate that. So, we're going to let's focus on you for a little bit. You like to sometimes put the focus
I'm a little shy at
elsewhere.
times, yeah.
I doubt that. Shy, we're not going to put in the sentence with your name. It goes nowhere there. In fact, Tom also has the rights now to be Wizzo, which was done by Marshall Brodeen for many, many years. And
A wonderful
Tom was
man,
an understudy
Marshall Brodeen,
to
yeah.
Marshall, correct?
Yeah. Pardon me, sir?
You were an understudy?
Oh,
basically,
yes.
to Marshall?
Well, I worked with him as a roustabout clown at the county fairs when he and Roy Brown, who was the great Cookie the Clown, when they were working the Kane County fairs or the Wheaton Fair, which I guess would be Cook County Fair.
Yes.
So many different situations. I worked with some great people. Ken Mate, who's a Chicago icon as well, just a wonderful performer and television show host, and a good friend of Roy's and Marshall's.
But just to circle back without cutting
Yeah.
you off.
No, that's
because
okay. I can
this hour is
Miranda.
for you. Yeah, and I got to watch you on that.
Yeah.
But you see, having the rights to Wizzo, me growing up, I mean, he was the icon for how many years?
Oh, Wizzo the Wacky Wizard is
Oh,
a
my
fantastic
God.
character.
And
Marshall
the way
performed him
you
for
portray
27
him.
years. Yeah.
And the way you portray him, Tom, you swear to God, when you're in costume and when you're doing this, it's like, oh my God, this has got to you look just like Marshall.
I try to do my best.
Yeah.
I try to do my best as when I'm working as Wizzo, and I have to do the doody, just like that. Let me touch you with a stone. I remember when I got stoned at the Zanzibar.
Stone Zanzibar. That was a big bar back then.
Oh, yes, it was. Marshall and Roy were fantastic performers, and in my youth, I knocked on the dressing room door at the Wheaton Fair, and they said, "Come on in." And I showed them some video, and we became friends. And in my youth, they said, "You know what, kid?" And in fact, they had heard a story. I'll just digress for a moment here. They heard a story of when I visited the Spooky Zoo Spectacular at the Lincoln Park Zoo, and I think I sent you a photo of that. And there's an image of Joey Diorio, who is Chicago's second television bozo on the Chicago show. And yeah, you can see that's kind of the picture didn't turn out really well, and that's a video copy of it. But there's a picture of me in my Halloween costume, and I showed up at the Spooky Zoo Spectacular, and over the intercom comes, "That's not the real Bozo the Clown. The real Bozo is in the barn waiting to meet all his fans." And so I finally got in and got that wonderful picture with Joey and myself, and I call it the Bozo Brothers photo. And
now that's you on the left? Or
yeah,
on the
that's
right?
me on the. I wish it were me on the right. That's Joey on the right, and that's me on the left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in my Halloween
you got the big
costume.
B on the arm.
Yeah, you can't see Joey's. His cuffs turned the opposite way there. And I had to make the wig and the costume and everything and sent off for the shoes. And it was great. I was out there basically bootlegging myself out as Bozo the Clown for birthday parties and stuff until I got the cease and desist letter. And little did I know, that was like 1992. And little did I know that...
that was a Bozo no-no.
20 years, yeah, it was a Bozo no-no, licensing. And 20 years later, when the show went off the air, 2001 in Chicago, I pursued the avenue of the Kane County Fair event. And I gave it to the higher power, gave it to God, and I said, you know what? I've got 3 or more people involved here. This could come to fruition. This could really be a lot of fun. And so I got in, and we did the Kane County Fair in 2002. It was my very first live show. We had done an appearance previously at the Valley Community Bank, who is the sponsor of the Kane County Fair show. And that turned out to be great fun. We had Al Hall, who was a producer and director of the Chicago show there. We worked with Andy Matran, who was Professor Andy on the Chicago show. He was there as a musical guest for us. And we also had Marshall Brodeen up on stage. Yeah. And we did some fun bits with him and such. And
for years, even just growing up, like I knew of Marshall Brodeen and, what he did.
Oh, the TV magic cards and the magic sets. Yes.
I never knew that was Wizzo until I was, probably my...
That was kind of a secret. Yeah, it's kind of a secret. Like, there's an image up there that I sent you of Roy Brown, and he's holding a painting of Cookie, and you'll see the various characters that he helped to create, and he puppeteered the classic Cuddly Dudley on the right there, Garfield Goose, McIntyre, and Romberg, and...
Is that Romberg the dog?
Romberg Rabbit, and Macintosh the Mouse.
Romberg.
Romberg is a rabbit. He was a magician's helper rabbit. And the dog, right now, the name eludes me, and someone probably could call in and tell me, because I should remember that.
Hey, and anybody that would, please give a call to
I apologize.
847-931-14.
Yeah, we have that painting in the Bozeum display.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, that's a beautiful piece.
I like it. Who's the gentleman that's to the left and in the middle?
Oh, here we have a photograph of me at the Rouse Center portraying Bozo the Clown. I'm on the right, of course. And in the middle is a wonderful performer, a local Chicagoan by the name of Joe Diamond. He does a fantastic mentalist and mind reading show. He's worked all around the world. He's been on Fool Us with Penn and Teller.
Oh yeah, I watch it every Friday.
He's really a great performer, and he's worked really hard to get to where he's at. And on the left, of course, is the man that we've just been speaking about, the world famous and award-winning magician Marshall Brodeen.
So let's see if I get this right. Most magic tricks are easy. Most magic tricks are easy once you know the secret.
That's right.
Like take these TV magic cards. Take the card, put it on top, tap it, it goes to the bottom.
Oh, my.
Tap it again, it goes back to the top.
It sure does. It sure does.
Was that the dialogue?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Marshall had a unique opportunity when he started TV Magic to be involved with the Chicago production of the Bozo Show, or Bozo Circus at the time. And here's a little story that Marshall told me. Ned Locke and the rest of the staff, they did other various jobs. They did voiceovers, they did selling of airtime and such like that. And Marshall wanted to cut a commercial for TV Magic cards. And Ned Locke said something to him, and I'm going to drop off the bad word, but you can figure out what the bad word is. You have to, or get off the pot. You know, get it going, get it started. And TV Magic cards took off. And Marshall's Magic sets were sold all across the country. And I like to say that Marshall Brodeen influenced more magicians than Harry Houdini.
And there's the Marshall Brodeen Magic cards down there, I believe.
No, that's me as Wizzo right there. Yeah,
that is you as Wizzo.
Yeah, that's me as Wizzo in the middle with some paraphernalia from the various 4th of July parades that we worked with. That's okay. We're looking at fun photos and having fun.
Amazing Magic or something on there. What's that little?
Oh, that's Marshall Brodeen's Amazing Magic is a little company that Marshall Jr. and I and my friend Glenn Chelius, we created and started offering magic sets to the youth. Nice. And it was a lot of fun. And now Marshall Jr. has taken that moniker and he's moving forward. He's a wonderful magic performer. And he and I have worked together. He is Marshall Brodeen and myself as Wizzo. And I look a little bit different when I'm not supporting this old man beard than I have everything glued on.
His father? What do you think? Is he as good?
I think he's just as good, and he's continuing the legacy and keeping the spirit alive. And as you progress in magic, things are happening. I believe he's got a magic set coming out. So, the legacy continues.
Well, that's pretty cool.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things we need to talk about, but there's just a few questions. We'll now go back to Bozo just a little bit because we wanted to talk more about the Bozeum. When did you begin collecting the clown material? Because you say you don't have all of it.
No, it's impossible.
Collection. I'm telling you.
Oh, it's impossible.
And anybody who does have any
photographs, memorabilia.
Yes, anything.
I'm not looking to own their original photographs and such, but if they participated in the Chicago show, I would really like to have a copy because I'm building a special wall. As we're talking about the Bozeum, I'm building a special wall that will feature candid photos like that people have shared, so they become a part of history and become a part of the Bozeum. And then when you're getting back to the question, how did all this start? I look back and go, I don't know if you guys out there talk to God, but I couldn't make it a day without him. And I'm like, how did this get so out of hand? How did this get so crazy like this? And it was because of the immense popularity of the Chicago show, the characters, the grandiose big top band, the action and the fun of the bits and comedy that they portrayed, the grand prize game, all that such, was just huge. And
magical.
It really was a magical time.
A magical show and a magical time.
And in the Bozeum, you're going to see some wonderful vintage original photographs and advertisements that maybe people have never seen. And I guarantee they're going to bring back fond memories of the Chicago show. But the Bozo license was beyond Chicago. Every marketplace had its own Bozo show at one time or another. The thing is that the Chicago production took off so rapidly in Chicago, and the whole Midwest here, Illinois, embraced it. But you have to realize, and as you know, this being in broadcasting, Dino, that the broadcast range for some of these stations wasn't very large.
Right.
I mean, you could not watch.
But it wasn't nationally syndicated.
No, not yet.
It was all still regional.
Yes, it's all regional syndication. You had a show in Boston with Frank Averouche. You had a show in Detroit with Art Servey. You had a show in Florida with Alan Rock.
And where was the first Bozo? You told me once before.
Oh, my goodness.
Where did the first Bozo appear? It wasn't in Chicago.
To get back to your first question, how did this start? My mom blessed me with a little lakeside rubber bendy toy that you could pose Bozo in different positions and whatever. And it was one of the tchotchkes that was sold back in like 1968 or so. Mm-hmm. The Chicago show started in 1960-61. And when you ask about the original Bozo the Clown. We're going all the way back to 1946. And I'm really glad that you mentioned that, because we are in the 80th year for Bozo right now
There's
in
a little method to
2026.
my question here.
Oh, yeah. You're giving me goosebumps. I really honestly have goosebumps
Because I remember
right
you
now.
telling me everything about
This is an
'cause-
exciting time. And in a couple of weeks, we have, I know I'm digressing and we're going all over.
That's okay.
I
We're
really
supposed
hope
to go
that
all over. This
the
is your show.
WRMN
This is about
listening
you today,
audience
Tom.
is enjoying this.
Let it be about you. And I think
No,
they
it's
are
not about me.
enjoying
It's about the
about the
character.
Bozo.
Yeah, it's about the
And the
character of
character. I
Bozo.
gotcha.
There's such a wonderful feeling that I get seeing the various Bozos and having
So that's why you
interviews.
sat with me. You want to see another Bozo. Thanks a lot.
You're one
pal.
of my favorites.
Yeah, when you said Bozos, you looked right at me. Don't think I didn't see that. Go ahead.
But I've received such a thrill in speaking and interviewing the various Bozo actors from around the country. It has really been a blessing and a delight
it had to be.
to have added memorabilia and photographs and advertisements from the various shows. But when we are talking about the 80th anniversary of the character of Bozo the Clown, we go all the way back to Capitol Records. And in November of 1946, Capitol Records advertised the very first Bozo product that ever was created and released to the public, and it was a record and book combination.
Do you have one?
Oh, yes, we have one. I couldn't start this collection without that. And that's the neatest thing about the Bozeum is it incorporates 80 years of Bozo's history from the beginning of Capitol Records. I'm looking outside, sir. I'm going to digress. It's getting pretty
It's really blowing
wild.
around.
Yeah,
I like it.
and just like Bozo, it's getting kind of wild. So I get really turned on when I speak about this, and a lot of people, may not understand why, but I find it really exciting because Bozo is a pop culture icon, an original American pop culture icon that Capitol Records released in November of 1946, just in time for the Christmas marketplace. And the story behind that is Alan Livingston was hired by Capitol Records, and the company hired him to create a children's record library. And he luckily met up with a wonderful performer who was a character actor and I guess you'd call him just a voice for the records for Capitol Records. He actually worked for Disney, but he could go out and freelance in various shows. You would have heard him on the Jack Benny Show. You would have heard him on various radio shows and radio commercials, and you would have heard him working with the Walt Disney Company as the voice of Pluto and Goofy. Oh, it's Dino's Night Out. We'll give you that name when we get back.
Yeah, we're going to give that name. How you like that for a teaser, everybody? Tom, you're hanging around with us. Everybody, don't turn that dial. Stay tuned in to WRMN.
We hope they call in.
1410 here.
Yeah,
And
hope they call
we'd
in.
love to take your call, 847-931-1410. But Tom has got a collection that you're not going to believe. I got so many more questions I hope we can get to. But we want to finish this story about the Capitol Records piece, how it got started. That was back in 46. So again, 80 years Bozo's been around. 80 years. The 60s were strong in the Chicagoland area because that's when it took off, 1960, 1961. But there's so much more to talk about. I'm going to keep that clip over here. That's just showing the different Bozo pieces that we got here today. We've kind of identified what they all are. There's one with Marshall and everybody. But hey, stay tuned. You're listening to WRMN 1410. Talking with Tom Holbrook. Thank you.
A Sangamon County judge has sentenced former Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson to 20 years in prison for the July 2024 killing of Sonia Massey. Circuit Judge Ryan Cadigan imposed the maximum sentence after a jury convicted Grayson of second-degree murder.
And we are back. Studio 14 right here. My name is Dean Delaney. Dino's Night Out. And we got a great friend of ours, Tom Holbrook, who is taking care of and the curator of the Bozeum. Say hi to everybody, Tom.
Good to see you. Thank you for listening, WRMN audience.
We are glad to have you here today. So Tom was in the middle of telling a story about how in 1946 this all came about. This Bozo thing is 80 years old, and it was done by Capitol Records, and there were some children's records that went along with it. Talked about the freelance guy that was kind of all over the place. He did stuff with Walt Disney, did stuff with the Jack Benny, and all the different radio shows that were back in the 40s. 1946 was a very popular time for the radio, of course. So from there, go ahead, finish up. You said
well, we had that little teaser there, and some of the listening audience might know this fact, but the original voice of Bozo the Clown was the character actor. He was actually an animator as well, very well known with his syndicated cartoon strip as well as his animation features. The great Pinto Colvig. And Pinto Colvig basically coined the name Bozo the Clown, although no one's ever actually told that story before. But in 1946, when Capitol Records released Bozo at the Circus, it was basically a collaborative effort between Alan Livingston and Pinto Colvig, though Colvig is only quoted as being the voice of Bozo the Clown. Right. And the interesting thing that really took off with Capitol and Bozo at the Circus when they released it was the fact that a book was, a children's book was timed with a record. So when Bozo blew his whistle, you would turn the page. Yeah. And so in various other records from Capitol Records, be it Bozo and his rocket ship, when you heard his rocket ship blast off, you would turn the page. In Bozo Under the Sea, when you heard the bubbles escaping from his diving suit, you would turn the page. And there were many Capitol Records releases, and they sold they were in the top 10 of children's records for many weeks. And they almost considered to be a babysitter for parents. Because kids could listen to those records like a radio show and turn the page with the book, and it really kept them quite entertained. And then, lo and behold, something happened for Capitol Records that they had no idea was going to happen. Next thing you know, there was a knock on the door. Next thing you know, there's a knock on the door, and licensors and area businesses and such are wondering, can Bozo make an appearance? Can we license Bozo products? And Capitol Records was like, oh my goodness. So they created a full wing for marketing of Bozo.
Nice.
And Bozo actually happened to have dolls and clocks and banks, coloring books, and oh my goodness, it just escapes me the things that were decals, anything and everything. Just about hundreds of products, lamps, rubber squeeze toys, and you see all that in the Bozeum. And when we open up and everything, and the Capitol Records was just taken back, and actually Bozo and Nat King Cole helped to build the Capitol Records building, which looks like a record player with a stack of records. Mm-hmm. And it was so huge, they made millions and millions and millions of dollars on this. But then in 1956, Livingston was leaving Capitol Records, and the license was going to be sold off to Mr. Larry Harmon and his partners, and they took Bozo all across the nation with the next step, which is inevitable, Bozo cartoons. And with those Bozo cartoons, the audiences were able to see Bozo shows in every major market in the country because that was the package they were selling.
Right.
That was a way. Television stations back then and television shows back then were in need of material and things to put on. And so the cartoon package, as well as the idea of selling them a costume and having Dean DeLaley dress up as Bozo and offer the cartoons for that afternoon's fun or that morning's fun, was a great marketing tool. And then that was in the 60s. And then in the late 60s, when UHF came into play, the stations needed material as well. A lot of the UHF stations, unfortunately, only lasted a short period of time. My friend David Eaton was a bozo actor in the late 60s in the Ohio marketplace, and he was on a UHF station which lasted about 2 years. And I was lucky enough to publish his autobiography called Being Bozo. And inside this book, we have a wonderful scrapbook full of photographs from his time as Bozo in that local marketplace in Ohio. But some Bozo shows lasted anywhere between a year or two, and some of them lasted 40 years, like the one in Chicago.
Is Chicago the biggest and longest run for Bozo?
Yeah.
And that started, like you say, 1960, 1961?
Yeah. 1960, 1961. Originally, the show had Bob Bell and only. And then they retooled the show. They took a hiatus and they retooled the show. And I believe it's September of 61 the show came on. And it really took off. And Don Sandberg was a producer and director. He's the one that created the Grand Prize game. And he had the idea of using Bob Trendler's Big Top Band. Bob Trendler's band was playing nightclubs and auditoriums and various events. And since they were on, I guess you would say, on the payroll, he said, well, we're paying you. You might as well be working. So that really added another intriguing situation. You tell me when that band started playing, the whole studio rocked.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't rock and roll that they were playing, but it just added electricity to it.
It was like that circus setting without being in the circus.
Oh, big time! And then when they brought on the live acts,
they had the
light. Oh yeah, they had that great music.
And that was all music that was played by them, by their orchestra.
My friend, I mentioned his name before, Ken Mate. Ken Mate was one of the performers that actually was on the Bozo Show more than any other performer besides Marshall Brodeen.
Oh wow.
And the fun story about Brodeen and how he created the Wizzo character. He had done a licensing shoot for a commercial photo shoot, and he had to wear the Wizzo costume, but it wasn't Wizzo. He was just an Arabian character of some sort. Well, after the shoot, he asked if he could have the costume, and they said, oh, sure, we're done with that. So he took it and showed it to Roy Brown, and he and Roy came up with the character.
The background, the backstory.
Of the wizard.
Nice.
Yeah, he called him the Wizard and came up with the makeup and everything. And Don Sandberg said, you know what? Okay, we'll put you on and see how it goes. It was electric. It was fantastic. And Bozo, Bob Bell, the great legendary Chicago Bozo Bob Bell, he was the one that coined the phrase Wizzo. They were calling him the Wizard. And one time Bob said, I've never seen this on camera, but this is a story I was told. He said, oh, Wizzo or something like that. And there was the name.
That's something.
And Marshall, having worked at Riverview Park as a busker and a talker for the 10 and 1 Freak Show or the 10 and 1 Curiosity Show, he had the modus operandi, in spirit and in heart for the Wizzo character, and he created this.
I think Bob Bell was my favorite.
Oh, Bob is an electric performer.
Isn't he something?
Yeah, he was never trained by Larry Harmon to be a Bozo. He had his own persona. He had his own characterization of Bozo, and it really took to heart in the Chicagoland market. It really did. And then after Larry Harmon took the rights from Capitol Records and took Bozo across the country, and as we stated before, there were various shows, Boston, Detroit, Florida, Arizona, every major marketplace, even New York. I mean, every major marketplace had a Bozo show, and we'll be featuring that in the Bozeum as well. We'll have a map of the United States, and with that map will be pinpoints of various Bozo and Bozo shows and such. But then Larry, after he took the character, he and his cartoon package, they really blew up America with Bozo the Clown. Really popular, and the licenses came in. Any product you can imagine was created with a Bozo likeness. Toilet paper? How about that, folks? Wow. Yeah, there's Bozo toilet paper. Bozo on a roll, it's called. Yeah, how about that? Gumball machines, banks.
The marketing people of the world are geniuses.
In the Bozeum, we have a setup of it looks similar to a children's bedroom. and you'll see the Bozo comforters and sheets and
All the
pillowcases.
different, artifacts,
the
I
alarm
gotcha.
clock, the night light, and
So
everything
do
like
you
that.
own the rights to Bozo now? Who owns
Oh
the
my
rights
goodness!
to Bozo?
I could only wish if I had the rights to
Well-
Bozo. I can do the great Bozo voice. I can do that. Let's see if I can pull that out of the hat here. Howdy, everybody! This is your old pal Bozo the Clown. Oh, Nelly! And there's one. You turn down your radio now because we're
Close your
going
eyes. It
wacky
sounds
here.
just like him. Sure.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, that's
No, that was a
the
good job.
Larry Harmon version of Bozo. Of course, Bob Bell had that
Oh, Bob, yeah.
childlike character, and he had a uniqueness that was not even close to Larry
I used to
Harmon's.
love the way he would talk to Cookie. They were just like two
Well,
kids talking.
why don't you just do something already? Yeah. Why don't you just? Well, I remember one. There's a couple skits. Ken Mate shared a lot of videotape with WRMN. I mean, with WGN Studios, and for their specials. And the one of the bits is about Cookie portraying a folk singer. And he's like, Bob's like, or Bozo was like, well, how did you learn how to be a folk singer already? And he's like, well, I learned from a book. Oh, I don't think you can learn to be a folk singer from any old book. I like to see that. And so Cookie says, I'm going to practice a little bit more and I'll come out. Well, Cookie, he goes back behind the screen, and he puts on a big hat and he comes out, and they had some Burl Ive music going. And he's playing the music, and one of the lines, I might have the timing off a little bit here, but one of the lines is like, what are you doing? You're playing folk music, you're singing about dogs and stuff like that. And that's what Bozo's saying to Cookie, and Cookie goes, well, dogs are folks to other dogs. They're having that fun like that. But anyways, I digress because I have such fun with this.
Yeah, I'm going to put back on here because you avoided my question very well. Who owns, right now, the rights to Bozo?
Well, the rights to Bozo the Clown went from Capitol Records to Larry Harmon Picture Corporation and his partners originally, and then Larry purchased outright the full rights for the Bozo character. And now the Hollywood actor and comedian David Arquette owns the rights to Bozo. I believe it was around 2023 or so that he had acquired the rights to Bozo the Clown, and he's produced many wonderful products, licensed many wonderful products, records, bobbleheads, wall decals, T-shirts, totes,
have
and
you
stuff
worked
like
with
that.
Mr. Arquette? Do you know him?
I have not worked with him personally. It would be nice to work with him. He makes a wonderful Bozo, and he has great ideas and a great motivation for the new future of Bozo. He did come and visit the Bozeum in its original form when we set up for the Collector's Call television show on MeTV. He did come and visit twice.
Okay.
And we took some pictures together, and he signed some things. And I think he was kind of taken back by the amount of material that had been licensed out over the years.
Is he a pretty grounded guy? I mean, to buy a thing like Bozo, to buy the rights, you got to kind of have a good heart, a good thing to want to keep this going on for other kids to
I believe that
appreciate.
David Arquette's intentions are admirable, and he has a very big fondness for the Bozo character. Having spent some time in his youth in the Chicagoland area growing up, he fell in love with, just like as we all did with the Chicago production. And since then, he's learned about the other productions. I've shared information in regards to Bozo's history with him and materials. And when a new item is licensed, sometimes he'll send me one, which is a blessing,
So you all this stuff you've been putting together for the Bozeum, how are your displays coming? They coming along pretty good? What do you think?
We had some challenges, and that's why I really enjoy being on WRMN, because you've helped immensely. We've had some people help with donations, and that's how this whole thing has come about. Having a wonderful sponsor with WRMN and as well as a few other companies and businesses in the Elgin area, as well as friends who have, like when I put the word out that I needed paint, a wonderful friend of mine, Tim, who's a contractor and a painter, said, I've got some paint for you.
Nice.
And I don't know how to say this, and I don't want to upset anybody, but man, there's sometimes when you think it's a coincidence, but there's no such thing as coincidence. He shared and donated the paint that I needed, the colors that I needed.
Nice.
And with my artistic abilities, thank you, God, I was able to create the motif for the walls and the decor that softly complement all of the Bozo memorabilia that will be on display.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's been a lot of fun. It's challenging doing all this.
When's your grand opening? When are you going to open?
Well, we have a special announcement coming up on the 14th of February, and I'm hoping to spend some time with you again, maybe on February 13th. And we can talk about that, and we'll have a couple of picture teasers and such like that. But the idea is we will be accepting visitations.
February 13th, the Friday?
Yeah, February 13th.
So that's going to be your good luck day, the 13th.
Oh, sure. We'll be on WRMN. I don't play into that. But then on the 14th, we'll make an official
and 14
announcement.
Is Studio 14. So the numbers are adding up.
Yeah, I have to agree.
The numbers are
You got
adding
that,
up.
Dean. That's really good. I like that. And we'll make a special announcement. I'd like to have some visitations. Those visitations will be set up in a way that we'll be able to utilize them for promotional purposes.
Beautiful.
One of the main things, and I know WRMN wants to be a part of this, one of the main things that I would like to see happen with the Bozeum is to create a virtual tour. So then people can come and see on a scheduled visit. That's fine. But here, it'll be virtually, and the entire world will be able to see it due to WRMN, you know?
We're glad to be a part of it.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a blessing.
It's a privilege for us
really
as well
is a blessing.
to put our name with Bozo and with you and to be...
It's been a long haul.
Just to
You've been so patient and wonderful.
But
it's been a long haul. There has been no money, and at times, I'll be honest with you, some wonderful people have come forth and said, you know what, Tom? I want to help you.
Now, do you have a GoFundMe
Here's a few
on
dollars.
Facebook?
No, I do not.
Well, why don't we do that?
We should probably do something
You know
like
what?
that.
After,
can look
after
into
the
that,
show
yeah.
today, we're going to definitely set up a GoFundMe because I'm telling you, folks, anybody interested, call 847-931-1410, or we could talk off air. When you see this collection, I was again privileged.
You
to
saw the
see
original
everything.
display, yeah.
And I saw where it was originally, and he made do with probably about a 10 by 15 space.
It was pretty close to that, yeah.
And he made do, and in fact, isn't that where you did your Me TV?
That's where they came in.
streaming?
Yeah, they came in and they shot for an entire day. In fact, the show that you saw that was on Collector's Call on Me TV, which airs on Sundays, they were there the whole day. They shot all kinds of footage. Some of the footage didn't even make it to the program. They had an interview segment with me. They had various shots of the costumes. Oh, yeah, we didn't mention that. You're going to see original costumes, original artwork. You're going to see original photographs. There's some rare items here, paintings.
Baby
and
boomers,
stuff
if
like,
you're not getting excited about this,
it gives me goosebumps.
I'm telling you, it really
I mean,
is.
really, I got goosebumps talking about it.
You are getting a rare treat. When you get up to the Bozeum, you are going to get a rare treat of so many different things that Tom has put together. And again, it's not about Tom, like you said. You're right. This is about Bozo. But for you to be this creator and for you to be the genius behind all of this, putting it together, you didn't have to create Bozo, but you're keeping Bozo's name alive. You're working with Mr. Arquette.
Oh, my
I think
goodness.
that's awesome. I mean, just to have Bob Bell, some of his artifacts, I know you have some of his stuff.
We got a lot of photographs and advertisements. I don't
Pictures and
own
what have
any.
you.
I don't own any shoes or costumes
Well,
and such
but
like
you have
that.
items
But,
that
you know, we
people
never
are gonna
know
wanna
what the
see.
Bell family might be able to share, or even just photographs of. You know, because people, if I always feel like material, if it's not the original, a photograph of it is fine. And I really think that photographs of Bozo memorabilia or any memorabilia should be duplicated and saved in various places because we never know what's going to happen. And like with the Bozeum, getting back into donations and getting back into like the GoFundMe, many things have happened. It's been strange and unusual. People have gifted me a shelf unit, and I'm like, yeah, I think I can use that. Or they gifted me a children's crib, which was the right size for the Bozo bedroom, but I had to cannibalize the crib and Bozofy it. You know, and turn it into something that would be, you know, apropos for Bozo.
Right.
And it's been a lot of fun, and it's been a struggle. It's really tested me financially. You know, we're working with pennies and dimes here. And,
But the cool thing from what I'm hearing from you is wherever the force is coming from, you and I know we're prayerful individuals.
oh, amen.
But it is something how you'll get a shelf that you look at the shelf like, well, what am I going to do with this? Then all of a sudden you're putting it into your collection, and as if it was designed to be there.
Yes.
And everything now starts falling into place.
Yes.
There's a reason for that to happen.
I had to, and we're kind of digressing. We've got a few minutes here, and I want to thank the audience for listening. Like with we'll talk about the shelf unit. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what can I do? I'm talking to higher power. What can I do to make this look like it fits in? And so I found some red Christmas type of balls, and I modified those to ornate the shelving unit to make it look like it actually belonged in that environment. And the same thing with the bedroom set. And many times when people have shared something or I've seen something, the higher powers, it's like, you're going to need that. And I'm like, well, why? And like with the Boseum lettering, I designed the lettering. I cut it out on vinyl, all by hand, and I was about to apply it to the wall, and I'm like, oh, this is not working. I wanted to look three-dimensional. I don't want to have to paint a drop shadow. And the higher power's like, hey, remember, I told you to grab that polystyrene sheet. And so I mounted it on that. I undercut it. Oh, and it lifts it off the wall a little bit and leaves that nice drop shadow. Yeah, three-dimensional. Yeah. And so we did that in various places on the decor on the walls just to make it look like things belonged, And
you even go back and digress a bit back to the real studio at WGN. How big, or how small we should say, of an area did they have to do the Bozo show? What was it? I was there. How many 100 feet would you say at best?
I would say that it was probably 100 by 70 or 100 by 100, something like that.
So now you would see these kids. Picture this now. You had the kids along, in the bleachers. All they were simple bleachers. And then they put that yellow and red type thing that looked like a big top, the 3-ring circus. And then they would shift to the other side of the studio to where they did the acrobatic, and they did the skits with Bozo and Cookie. They did all of that.
Yeah, it was all gaily painted.
And right, in a 100 by, I would say 50. If we got to get the dimensions.
People they were taken back when they saw how small everything was.
And it's a cutaway. Yeah. Everybody thinks that, wow, you're at the circus.
Yeah, and it sounded like it, right? But they had banners dropped, from the ceiling because they're just tall ceilings in the television studios.
Yeah, it really was.
And they really in the old pictures you can see the progression of when that they had the hanging banners, and originally they may have just been solid color, and then later they started ornating them a little bit. And originally the audience corral was of a simple design, and then later they started coloring it a little bit more, adding color like every season.
But everything was, even at the Bozo,
done by hand.
What you're doing, everything was not only done by hand, but it was done basic. It was done, you could tell with love and with like the feeling of.
That's the funny thing about this is, and we've talked about this, and I've talked about it with other people. They're like, why is it taking you so long? And I'm like, the ideas don't come right away. I'm looking at this doorway space, and I'm not using the doorway space as a doorway because it leads, to a different environment. And I'm like, okay, how can I utilize this and make it look like it fits in?
Well,
yeah, and it all worked out with the help of people, a lot of donations and everything. And
before we run out of time, which we are right now.
Yeah, 3 minutes in.
I'm going to tell you, we are going to have you here on the 13th of February. Everybody, tune in, WRMN. 14th.
Thank you for listening, everyone.
You are definitely going to want to listen to us on the 13th.
And we'll have some teaser pictures.
Because
it'll be a lot of fun.
On the 14th, there may be a sweetheart of a deal coming your way. So, how'd you like it?
I like that, yeah.
All right. But anyhow, Friday the 13th is going to be the Boseum's Good Luck. What do you want to call it? Not debut, but that's
a little of an announcement. Yeah, kind of in a debut. We're going to have some photos
announcement,
for you.
And with all goes well, we're going to have a sweetheart of a deal for you on the 14th. Tom Holbrook, can't thank you enough for coming in here today. Thank you very much. Again, we've been talking Boseum, all things Bozo, with our very good friend Tom Holbrook. We are looking so forward to this. Everybody be listening to WRMN 1410 Deano's Night Out right here. Studio 14.
At Britain's Touchless Car Wash, they know life gets busy.